be a little bit difficult is they can have a bit of grit and stuff on the bottom. So, you've got about halfway. I'm going to put the leaves to one side because we'll use them halfway where the leaves start. Bang. We'll come back to those greens. But as you can see, if I click this, all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run that through the sink and other stuff as well. So you can just chop that off at the bottom. Well, feed it to your chooks, whatever. All right, but you can quite do that if you don't want that in your Mi Goreng. If there's any bit still hanging on, you can kind of rub it off with your thumb. All right, you're going to need that for your noodles at some point as well. You can kind of see the dirt will come off, or the grit will come out. Pretty easy. Just use your thumb.
Yeah, tell me.
You in, Majub?
Yeah.
You good?
Done.
Just boil the kettle first, right? So jump. You might be a little bit behind. I'll run you through it if you need anything. All right, that's done. You can see that the dirt's not on that one. Wasn't a good example. Get rid of all that. All right. You put that over a bowl, leave that in the sink. Doesn't matter if there's a little bit in there, but you wouldn't want a whole heap of it. You don't want your Mi Goreng tasting like dirt. Well, hopefully it doesn't anyway. They can just drain there. We'll come back to them in a second. What I'm going to do now is, my kettle is just about boiled. What I want you to do next is to read the packet instructions on your individual noodles, all right? Because everyone's going to be using different noodles. We're going to cook them first. With these ones, it's just 3 minutes. And we're going to rinse them under cold water. I'll cook all of these, but depending on who you're cooking for at home, choose how much. It will make good leftovers, so don't be panicked if you cook a lot, all right? My kettle just went off, so I'm going to chuck my noodles in shortly. You can chuck a bit of salt in the water as well, because salt gives flavour, and it is a pasta, so we may go through what the Italians do and add salt to the water. And it will help with your boiling process as well. I learned that in science one day. I'm really struggling with this, so I'm going to go to the scissors option.
It should be as salty as the Mediterranean Sea.
Yes or no?
And it's extremely salty.
Right, so what we're going to do is we are going to fill our pot with boiling water. I'm going to bring that back up to the boil. It shouldn't take too long. I'm going to heat it with a bit of salt. Salty as the Mediterranean, as Jess said. Give it a bit of mix. Anything you got. Yeah. You plop your noodles in. I've gone the Pandaroo egg noodles in. Just going to put them in. They'll do their thing in about 3 minutes. So I'm going to go at 7:12 on my microwave. 7:09 at the moment. You can have them, you don't want to cook them all the way through. You can have them a little bit under. That's going to be fine because they're going to cook in with the stir fry as well. All right. What we're going to do next is we're going to come back to our pak choy or any Asian green you have. All right. I'm just going to wipe out that bowl because I'm going to use that again at some point. So I'm just going to wipe that out. If you've got some kitchen paper handy, you can chuck that on your chopping board, and that will absorb some of the water that from the pak choy when you rinsed it. So just chuck a bit of that down. I know you can get it in supermarkets these days, so you don't have to use it like gold. So you can just try and get rid of some of that excess water from the pak choy. Funny Funny fact, Marley's nickname was actually bok choy, childhood nickname.
I didn't know
As she
that.
shakes her head. So, oh, Leroy's in. It's good. If I'm moving too fast, hit up the chat and I'll try my best to answer it as we go. Kind of pat it down now. Pak choy. Keep an eye on the time on your noodles, depending on your packet.
Tunes.
Oh, not today. Anything that you like cook, you like. Anything that gets you in the mood to cook. Sometimes we have the TV on, sometimes that. My noodles are just about done. They're in a nice tight kind of bound. So I want them to really try. Jess is doing a good job there. Might just turn that up to get the boiling a bit longer. So I'm going to come back in a couple of minutes or so. That's fine. Just keep an eye on them. You don't want to cook them so that they're ready to eat. Because we're going to... I can't remember. Am I doing it wrong? No? Right. Slowly coming out. A couple of minutes. So I'll move over to the pack. Just want to slice it. However you're comfortable. You can go lengthways. Or you can go the other way. You can have vertical strips. You can mix it up and have both. Doesn't really matter. All right, you just want a nice little fine slice. Because what you'll end up doing is you'll end up frying that. I'll come back to that again. Pot's going to, my pot's a frothing pot. We're getting there. Oop. It's hard to see now.
It's pretty much.
I think they're going to be good. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with those. Because they're egg noodle and starchy too, we're going to run them under cold water. As I said, we'll... Jess is helping me out there. Just try and release them from their bundles.
What often works really well, sometimes better than a spoon, is some tongs. A bit like when you cook with pasta, because then you can sort of, pick it up and twist it. So when your egg noodles are a bit stuck together.
Yeah, and Jess is often got some more knowledge than I do when it comes to these kind of dishes.
She's good with carbohydrates.
Hopefully you're not having as much trouble as I am with your noodles.
I reckon you're pretty good, mate.
I reckon we're good. So we're going to take that off the flame straight away, knock that back, and we're going to go over to our strainer. Be careful. If you're using a saucepan, it's going to be hot. All right, So grab a tea towel, or if you're hardcore, doesn't matter. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to put them in the strainer. And we're going to straight away have a nice steam bath. Anyway, no, I'm going to run them under some cold water just to stop the cooking process. We don't want them to cook anymore.
Stop someone sticking together too.
Yeah, and we'll probably do this again at some point too, because you'll find that as we cook dinner, these are going to start to stick together a bit. So before we chuck them in the pan, we'll probably run them under cold water again anyway. So just let them do their thing. Put them on top of the saucepan, let that water drain out. We'll probably run some cold water over them again. Now we just get into a full kitchen or preparation phase. So you can put any veggies in at this point, really. Carrots. I've got half an onion floating around somewhere that I was going to use. There it is. I'm going to add that in just because we only used half one last night. Obviously, this is a lot of pak choy as well, so whatever you want, really. If you like it, chuck it in. It is probably the only main vegetable in the dish, so it's good to have it, and it provides some good texture as well and punch. I'm going to go lengthways. I don't know, I just like the look of that better, but whatever your knife skills allow. Doesn't matter if they're not all even. No Michelin star dinner here. I'm probably just going to look to fill this bowl, and we'll probably use the rest in another dish, or not sure. Any questions? Hans with the special comments. Someone said Hans with the special comments.
That one didn't pop up. I didn't.
So if you want to chuck...
Why did you choose this dish?
We recently went to Indonesia, just in the nick of time, got back, and this is one of Indonesian's staple dish, along with nasi goreng. So mi is noodle in Indonesian, if I remember back to my Indonesian teacher, Bu Tui. Marley will know who she is. So mi is noodle, and goreng is fried. So these are just fried noodles. It's a popular street dish in Indonesia, along with nasi goreng. It can come in many forms. A lot of different cultures have it. So Malaysia has its own version, but generally it's just your noodles with some vegetables and a protein. I know Tommy, I spoke earlier to Tommy, he was running with some tofu tonight rather than chicken, but if you've got beef, fish, goat, doesn't matter what you want to use, it's all going to work well, okay? Even if you just wanted to use an egg as well and not have any protein. Tofu would be delicious. Yeah. But I think that's going to be enough for Jess and I. We will put them somewhere. I've just got a container.
You're not using the top?
Not yet.
Oh.
We'll get to them because we'll put them in later because they cook at a different rate, Jess. So you're better than that. So you can put any veggies in. Whatever you got in your pantry. It's a good, really, dish to just use up what you've got in your fridge. Obviously, everyone's fridge would be pretty low at the moment in terms of what they're trying to do, and hopefully not going to the supermarket a lot.
Unless you were dodgy and stockpiled.
Yeah, hopefully no one's stockpiled in this group. I'm just going to chop this onion, just slice it, pretty just similar kind of thickness to the Asian green there. All right, just the good thing with an onion, it's kind of got lines on there for you to try and just cut through, as you can see. All right, I always try and use them as a guide and just follow through to the middle. Because you're stir frying, you can be a little bit cut thicker slices because obviously it will stand up to the heat a little bit better as well. Normally onions kind of get lost, and you can just separate that out with your fingers, which you've all washed obviously previously. Good call, Roy. Lockie is looking pretty stocky these days. Chicken stock. We're going to use that next week. Hold that up for next week. If we get a go ahead. All right, that's it.
Sam thinks the onion slices are way too thick.
Shut up, Sam.
If it was up to Sam, there'd be no onions. So
you're a 30-year-old man. You don't even eat mushrooms, you weirdo.
Yeah. Onion.
Onion and mushroom.
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was just onion.
Oh. All right. What we're going to do is, everyone all right? Thumbs up. All right. What we'll cut next is the tops of our greens, and we'll use them. We don't want to waste them. So the easiest way to chop these is you just want to try and lay them out in a nice little flat kind of pattern. And what you do is you're going to roll them up into like a cigar shape. Now, if you've got a lot of them, you probably might need to do 2 cigars shapes. And this is a good trick with any herb. If you can get it into this kind of shape, or lettuce, it's really, really easy. So what you want to do is roll. Now, obviously there's a stemmy part, so you want to just maybe get rid of that, and that will make it easier. You can feed that to your chooks or your kids, whatever. And what you want to do is just roll this up in like a nice little tight cigar shape. All right, like this, and tuck it in on itself. All right, now we're ready to chop. Now you can chop this really, really finely, and this can be used as a garnish. We might reserve half for a garnish at the end, and we might actually cook with a half at the end as well. So nice and finely. I think they call it a chiffonade. You can see that it creates some nice green ribbons. It's a good way to chop any leaf, really. Herb, anything like that. If you can fold it into a tight little bundle, it's going to be easier to deal with as well. So as you can see there, that's it. All right, that's all you want. Good for soups or anything like that. If you're using like silver beet, even I cut kale like that as well. Good little trick. Obviously, I picked that up from somewhere, probably when I used to sit at home watching the Lifestyle Food Channel when I was a graduate teacher, so I had nothing else to do. Probably still do it on my school holidays now. I'm going to do that again, just with the other half. Don't forget these couple. So once again, you just want to cut the stem away because it makes it a bit harder to cut. What we're going to do is we're going to form that cigar shape again and do a chiffonade of the pak choy leaves or bok choy or anything really. All right, chuck that in a bowl or a container that we'll use again. I dropped a bit on the floor. That's Jess's bit. All right, we want to virtually get everything ready. Now I'm going to save my chicken to last because that means we won't have to worry about washing our knives or anything like that. So stay with me, stay ready with that. What I'm going to do now is just chop a chilli for garnish and a couple of spring onions because obviously it's an Asian dish. We want to cut it on the bias. So I just got the spring onions here. Put it down. Jess is telling me.
No,
She's
look
the
at this
producer.
one.
Look, yes. Yeah, I've got to get better at that. So we've done our greens and whatever veggies we're using. Right, they're done. I've got our spring onions that we're just going to put in a nice little bowl. Smash this plate open. Right, so spring onions, just line them nice up.
How many spring onions?
You can never have too many, I don't think.
How many have you got?
3. I've got 4. 4, and I've just trimmed them up prior, and
So
just got rid of the
chop
the ends off, and you can get rid of some of that portion bit too. Just be mindful that sometimes these are a bit dirty too, so you might actually have to peel off like the one layer of spring onion. So you can see there, it's quite easy that normally once you do that, you'll reveal a nice kind of spring onion that's clean and really ready to eat. All right, that's in the bin. So what we're going to do here is cut it on the bias. Excuse me.
What does that mean?
Just on the angle. All right. Oh, it doesn't really matter. I think it looks better with on the angle. So what we're going to do is just whack that on the angle. Try and keep it nice and thin. Just keep running your knife through like it's like a train motion. Just continually moving forward, and you can use your other hand to move it forward. Watch those fingers. Right, that will be enough for Jess and I. Get rid of those offcuts. I'm just going to move that into a serving dish because we'll sprinkle those on top just before serving.
Coop's doing something with honey.
Cooking his own dinner.
Yeah.
I'm having some dinner snacks. Bit of hummus and honey on crackers.
Oh, dinner snacks are the best snacks.
It is delicious.
I always eat too many dinner snacks though, and then by the time it gets to dinner, I don't want any dinner.
It's a trap.
It's a trap, yeah.
Non-delicious food. You've got to be careful of them. All right, just clean my board down. I'm a little bit OCD when it comes to that. You want a nice clean surface. All right, just going to do the same thing with the chili. Just nice on the angle, nice and fine. If you're not a chili person, don't worry about it.
Marley's crying.
Why is Marley crying?
The onions.
Spring onions?
Yeah, I think so.
She needs a sharp knife.
Birthday present.
All right, that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How's everyone going? We going well?
Chili and garlic done.
Chili and garlic.
Oh, chili and onion. Sorry, not garlic.
Garnish.
What's your garnish?
Oh, that's the fried shallots right there. So hopefully you went and followed your shopping list and got them. That's fine.
What happens if you couldn't find any?
Crushed peanuts, any nut, sesame seeds, whatever. Just want a bit of texture at the end.
Where would you normally find them?
In the Asian aisle of your supermarket, international food section. All right. We might move on to the chicken or whatever protein you're using. I kind of was a bit sneaky and I went ahead and kind of got my chicken out of the packet and I've patted it down with some kecap so it's not as slimy. We'll come back to using that board again. I'm going to use a different knife, obviously, because that's my favourite knife and I want to use that again at some point, potentially. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut this chicken up. Now, Jess is not the biggest fan of chicken thighs. I've slowly converted her to that. She doesn't like, she calls it gooby chicken, but it's probably the best part of the chicken. So Jess won't like some of the parts I add and she'll pick them out once we're done. So what we want to do with these thighs is just cut them into some...
Tommy's in my camp. He thinks they're gross.
Each their own. What we're going to do is we're just going to cut the chicken up into some nice cubes.
Wide is right.
Sorry?
Wide is right, as in breast chicken, Tommy.
More flavour, Tommy. We're in the flavour game here, mate. Not counting cows. Particularly after the way you ride. I'm just going to cut this into some bite-sized pieces. All right. Chuck that in a bowl. I sharpened my knives beforehand, so I'm thankful for that. Just won't like that bit. They don't have to be perfectly uniform. No, it doesn't matter. Just so that you can fry them up evenly. See, that bit is Jess's worst nightmare.
Oh, where is it?
On the top there. That's just the skin. She hates the skin. So I'll have to cut that off.
Yeah.
Even though that's where a lot of flavour is going to be found.
No, thank you.
So I did Jess a bit of a favour there, but it's going to lack some flavour. So we're going to get rid of all that. Sharp knives do great things. I don't think Marley will attest to this. Mm-hmm. My parents haven't owned a sharp knife in our entire lives, I don't think. No. So it's important that you do have sharp knives, or by invest in a good set of knives and a nice sharpener, and you'll be able to go do good things. Once we get through all this preparation phase, it actually comes together really, really quickly. So how are we going for time? About half an hour. So I reckon in about 15 minutes, I reckon we'll be close to finish. I reckon we'll be sitting down enjoying our meal.
So if you were having people around for dinner and you wanted to whip up a little Indonesian banquet, you could prep all of this well and truly in advance.
Like if I was doing this...
Or meal prep even for your week. You could chop a lot of this on a Sunday knowing you were going to have it on a Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely. This could all be prepared, and you could even marinate your chicken prior to that. But we're going okay. It's no Jamie's 15-minute meals pace, but hopefully everyone's following along. All right, that's done. I'm not going to use that again, so that can go in the sink. All right, and then I'm going to wash my hands as well as we touch the raw chicken. Right, I'm going to bring back Old Faithful. So we're ready to go. Just got to make our little sauce up, and then one thing I forgot. We're going to just chuck a smidgen of any of the oil that you have in our chicken. I'm using peanut oil. Asian dish. You got vegetable oil, olive oil. I just want to chuck a little bit of that in. And what we're also going to do is we're going to use some of or all of the garlic on the chicken. Oh, can't remember.
I think so.
Yeah, so we're going to just grate or finely chop some raw garlic. I'm just putting a bit of oil on the chicken now is because it will stop it sticking when we put it into the wok. Doesn't matter. It's my interpretation. Right. So you can grab a couple of garlic cloves. I'm going to use. There was 4 thighs in there, so I'm going to use 4 cloves. All right. I'm going to bang that in. I'm just going to use my grater, but if you don't have one of these,
The microplane,
or you can just squash it. All right, up to you what you want to do. I'm just going to grate it. Watch your fingers. I prefer this method because it's less fucking around. Excuse my French. And the grater will actually leave the skin behind, which is cool. You don't get it all, but you get a lot of it.
You could also, a cheats version is use the minced garlic in a jar.
Yeah, if you've got a garlic press or something like that, you can use that as well.
Yeah.
That's all good. I'll do one on the knife just to give you an idea of what you're looking for. Just going to get rid of this.
Yep.
So you can just squash it and then get it out of the skin. You don't want to take the skin into your stir fry. Just run your knife through it. Doesn't have to be perfect. And just let your knife do the work. You can change the direction of where you cut from. Doesn't really matter. Right, we're going to chuck all that in our chicken. So that goes in. Slow down. Jess is telling me to slow down. Sorry.
Trying to tell you as a producer without you going, hang on, what'd you do?
So we're going to just let that.
Yeah, I can see your mouth.
Oh, he's struggling.
Yeah. Yeah, no one can chop as quick as you, so just...
sorry.
Yeah.
All right, I'll wait.
It's all right.
All good. Take that over to the wok, which we'll use for the cooking process.
So if you were to recap for people who might have just joined us, what have you done so far?
All right, so we just pretty much just prepped everything.
Yeah.
We've got one more job to do.
What did you prep?
So we've cooked our noodles. Noodles are in the sink. They're straining in our strainer. We run them under cold water to stop the cooking process. They've gone probably a bit claggy. So we'll run some more cold water through them shortly.
Yeah.
Before we add them into the wok. We've got to cook our chicken off first.
Yeah.
Before we do that anyway. We've also prepped our veg.
Yeah.
So our pak choy. We've rinsed that, sliced it, and what are the other veg we're using? We've chopped some spring onions and some chilli. We've also chopped some garlic and our protein, whatever we've decided to use as well.
Yeah, and then you've put peanut oil or whatever oil you've got
just
in with your chicken.
On the chicken, so it doesn't stick when it hits the wok.
And you've added the garlic into that as well.
To change, I've just changed it up a little bit. You can add the garlic probably whenever, but I think it would be nice with the chicken there as well. One final step before we start the whole process is that what we're going to do is we're going to make our sauce. All right, so you should have some just normal soy or light soy, whatever you can get your hands on. We've gone with the Kikkoman low sodium. We've got our kecap manis, which is sweet soy sauce. It's an Indonesian favourite. We've got a bit of sriracha as well. And we've got a lime. Probably goes in that kind of order. These are probably the same amount, so you're going to use predominantly all of that, okay, or whatever.
Do you measure?
No, I don't. I kind of go off the cuff. I'll taste it before we put it in. So you should too. Taste your food. It's a good little tip. How's everyone going? Can we move on to the sauce? Thumbs up. Wallace is ready. Marley's good. Nodders is good. Yep.
Tommy's typing.
Tommy, are good?
There's snacks going on in the other Wallace household, I can see.
Recommended beer to go with the dish. Something fruity because it's spicy, Tommy. So you got like an XPA in there. I would recommend that. All right, we're going to make our sauce. So, ketchup banners.
A nice Pinot Gris or a Riesling if you're a wine person. Always goes nice with an Asian dish. How much do you reckon that is?
That's 4 tablespoons, maybe.
Really good squeeze.
Yeah, a good glug of that. That's the main bit of your dish.
Like a quarter cup almost.
Quarter of a cup, I reckon. If you want to, it doesn't matter if you've got too much. It's fine. Don't panic. You're going to squeeze your lime in.
What's the trick to get your lime extra juicy?
You can roll them.
Yeah.
That's always a good tip. So give it a good roll before you cut it. All right.
Well, Marley's got a good little squeezer. That's handy.
Oh, a lime squeezer. Jesus, that's real fancy.
Get kitchen gadgets.
All right, so the lime goes in. And obviously, this is going to be, we're looking for salty, sweet, and sour with everything that's going on here. So I'm going to add a splash of a normal soy. That's obviously the salt.
About 2 tablespoons, you reckon?
2 tablespoons. And going to add the sriracha or any other hot sauce you can get your hands on.
About a tablespoon of that one, do you reckon?
Probably go 2. Or I can match the soy. Mine's a bit empty. Oh, there we go. And if you want it really spicy, you could add some of your Sambal olive as well, about a teaspoon, which we might do. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give that a bit of a mix up. The sweet soy sauce or the ketchup manis, which is ketchup being sauce and manis being sweet, almost has like a honey or a molasses type consistency. So the lime juice will help break that down. And once you've given that a good mix, you can have a taste. If it tastes good to you, you're good to go. I'm pretty happy with that, I think. A little bit sweet. I'm just going to add a splash more soy. But other than that, I'm pretty happy. So, give yours a taste. If it awakens your taste buds, then you're good to go.
Just laughing at them tasting it.
Give it a good mix because the soy or the sweet soy will sink on the bottom. So make sure you give that a good mix. All right. I think we're ready to go. We're going to move over to the wok. Take everything with you that you need. It's a good tip. You don't want to be going backwards and forwards between trips. One thing I want you to do before anything is grab a cup. All right, and this is where the corn flour comes in. We might not actually use it. I'm tipping we will, because we don't have a high enough heat to keep it where we want. What we're going to do is we're just going to put a teaspoon of corn flour in a cup. I actually might do 2, because there's 2 of us. All right, I'm just going to put a bit of cold water in that. All right, just a splash. We want to dilute that or make a little bit of a slurry. This will actually help tighten up everything at the end. All right, we might not use it. We might. All right, this is really really important.
If you don't own a wok, what would you cook it in?
Saucepan.
A saucepan, not a fry pan.
Fry pan.
You've got a really high-edged fry pan. Yeah, Miles, that'll be fine.
Dutch oven.
Yeah, that's what she's similar to what she's got.
Yeah, that's fine. If you don't have a wok. So what you want to do now is we're going to cook our chicken. Depending on the size of your pan, probably want to cook it in batches.
There was a reference to was.
Oh, the great wok. So that's, see, that's diluted. Don't worry about that. That will probably glug up in this whole process. So what I want you to do is turn your wok or cooking vessel on. You want to get it nice and hot. Now, remember, we already lubricated the chicken with a little bit of oil already. All right, I'm just going to put a little bit more oil in my wok. All right, and we can swirl that around. Now, I want to get
Can you
nice
explain the corn flour part again, please?
The corn flour part we'll use, because what tends to happen is all
how
these
much do you do
vegetables
though?
are a teaspoon, 2, all right, and that will thicken everything up at the end.
So it's only a little bit, and then like a tiny
Splash
splash of water. So it's almost like a thick kind of,
like a slurry.
a bit like when you add flour to water. So it's just like a slurry, and that'll thicken up your sauce. So if your sauce for whatever reason was a little bit too runny, you put a bit too much soy in or whatever, it'll make it nice and thick.
We'll cook it out at the end.
Yeah.
All right, so what we're going to do is going to cook some chicken. All right, cook half. We'll actually cook better if it's in batches. Everyone's going to have different size pans, so you guys do you.
So if you've got a little pan, you don't want to put all your meat in?
No, because they'll end up stewing. Obviously, it's a stir fry. So people tend to overcrowd their pans when they're making a stir fry. So it's really, really important. But particularly with your protein, they're really just cook in small batches. You find that a lot of the best stir fries are probably eaten. The protein's probably cooked in another method. In another pan or in something else. So the garlic will, if you want to keep it moving, right, you don't want to let it stick too much. You can put a little bit of salt in there. This will go back into the pan. So obviously with chicken, it's a bit hard to really be really consistent with your cooking process. So what we'll do is we'll cook this for a while, obviously, until most of the sweetness has gone out of the chicken pieces. But we are going to add this back in, so don't panic if you find a little bit that's raw. The residual cooking at the end will take care of that process.
And if things stick to your pan or your wok, should you be worried?
Don't panic. When we put some other things in there, you can give a bit of a wipe out after each time you use it, and that will get rid of it. But a wok's meant to transfer the flavours that you've used in previous cooking anyway, so it's okay if you get a bit of sticking. It's not going to be the end of the world. You'll find that when you put your noodles in at the end, it will pick up a lot of those flavours and bits. You grab a bit of a paper towel as well. I've got something with a flatter edge. You can really make sure you're scraping the bottom of your wok or pan. Right, so we're not far away from this first batch done. Smelling pretty good. Smelling like garlic.
Yeah.
Which is good. All right, I'm just going to transfer that into a bowl. Not the raw chicken bowl.
Fresh
bowl.
Fresh bowl.
Fresh bowl. That will go back in shortly, so all good. All right, I'm going to move to the next part of the chicken. That goes in. Could need a little bit more oil, just depends on the vessel. I'm just going to add a touch more because we've got a bit of stick. You find the wok will absorb some of the oil as well. Yeah, I'm just going to turn the fan on because we've got a bit of smoke happening. Excuse me,
Rinse it.
Drop stuff that's sticky, just want to give it a good scrape off the bottom.
We'll add the flavour at the end though.
Yeah, that's alright. It's not going to be too much. Think of an Indonesian man in his little cart on the side of the road. He's not going to have the best looking wok or anything like that. Probably would have used it a lot over his journey, or man or woman. Because the thighs are like a fattier cut of meat, we'll release some oil and stuff like that, which will help you kind of scrape off any of that flavour. Alright, if you're worried about it at all. So really use for the elbow grease and keep the chicken moving. I'm pretty happy with that. We'll go back to our original roll. Right, put that to one side. We'll use that again at some point, obviously. I'm going to grab a little bit of a paper towel. Just do a little quick wipe out. Just be careful, it will be hot, obviously. Turn it down. You can see got rid of most of it. What I might actually do is just turn this off. Relatively clean again. No.
So the reason you do that is so that you don't have any of those sort of burnt bits that just hang about, isn't it?
Yeah, you just want to give it a little bit of a wipe
nice
out.
Fresh pan.
Right, a little bit's not going to hurt you. See? Right, so we want to fire it back up your wok. Right, this is where the magic happens. So, get going. Right, bit of oil back in your pan.
How's everyone going with their chicken? And we all got the chicken off?
Good.
Just slow down a little.
Sorry.
Need a couple off of the chalk coming from Wallace. So just have a little breather.
We'll turn this down.
So what have you got beside your stove ready to go so you don't have to run around the kitchen?
We've got our salt and pepper. We've got our chopped up onion and pak choy. We've got our chicken. We've got the tops of our pak choy, and we've got our sauce.
And I see you've got the eggs out there.
Oh, eggs out. We're going to normally you add the egg in, but we find that it just kind of gets lost a bit. So we're going to actually just fry an egg on top. You don't have to add it extra.
And eggs cook a little bit better when they've been out of the fridge. So if they're in the fridge, grab them out now.
Give us a thumbs up when you're ready to go. Sorry. Forget I move a little bit faster than normal.
All good. Have a breather, have a beverage. What was your beer recommendation? You're drinking soda water right now?
Soda water with grapefruit and lime.
Let's just
check your socials.
Always important.
How are we all going out there? Moving to the wine cabinet.
Trying to do it subtly.
Hanging in there. Next time having a drink.
Working it, my kind of gal.
Butcher.
Oh, perhaps not.
Right. How are we all going? Wallace, good. Duckers. Chicken done. Barley, you good? Noodles is good.
Okay.
How you going there, TK? Good. 2 thumbs up. Good. Good. All right. Ready to move on? It's going to happen fast.
This next bit's quick.
All right. What we're going to do first is going to rinse our noodles again. We've gone a bit pluggy. So just cold water, give them a good rinse. Even getting your hands in there.
Yeah.
All right, just try and separate it. You'll probably find that they've gone a bit pluggy, which is fine. Just really want to get rid of that starch again. Might even get rid of that bit. Pretty happy with that. Right, so just have that ready to go nearby. You don't want to do it. Right, then you walk back up. Right, this is where it starts to happen really quickly. All right, a bit more oil in our pan for the previous part. Right, we're just going to let that heat up again. You can see there's still some oil floating around in there. Before I can oil use in a stir fry, but I think a lot of it gets absorbed into the wok, I reckon.
Seasoning.
Yeah, wok seasoning. All right, we want to get this as hot as we can. Even if you've used the right oil, a bit of smoke coming off the oil. And we'll move really, really quickly to get this done. And hopefully you guys will be eating by 8 o'clock or close to. It's been a bit of a long process, but I apologise. I might send out some shortcut hints next week or if we do this again, just so that you're a bit more prepared. All right.
That's fine.
So we've got some smoke. I'm going to put the fan back on. All right. We're going to put our veggies in. Hopefully you hear a sizzle. Just going to put a bit of pepper and salt. Want to get them moving around.
This is just your crunchy veggies, isn't it?
Not crunchy veggies. You don't want to put in your green stuff yet. We'll put them right at the end. They are pretty much cooked already. The residual heat from the noodles will take care of those. So obviously a stir fry, you can see like it's picked up a lot of those off-coloured bits or burnt garlic or leftover chicken or tofu, whatever you've got in there. Just looking to get a quick caramelization on these veggies, right? You don't want to overcook them, you still want them to be crunchy throughout your dish. No, I'm pretty happy with that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stuff my chicken back in. And as long as any juices that may have left over. So the chicken and the garlic and the veggies are just in the pool, having a good time. Have your wok not really high, right? You let that cook for a little bit. I'm going to just go over and grab my noodles now. You want to add them into the pan. You give them another quick rinse if you want. shake. Don't worry, just grab a little bit of water and come with you. So one, get the tap out of the way. Right, 1, 2, 3. Bang them in. Right, give them a good top. Obviously, it's fried noodles, so don't be scared. Bang them in. Incorporate all your stuff what's in the pan. Tongs, use your tongs. I'm not a big tong user, as you can see. Just want to constantly move it. You want the noodles to be glistening, like the oil and everything that's in there. So keep folding it in on itself. All right, now we're ready for our sauce. Right, we're going to give that a quick mix again. Bang that in. Make sure you get all of it. We just want to incorporate that into your dish. All right, sit that to the bottom. You notice that the colour changes. And there's a lot of sugar in that ketchup manna, so you don't want to spend too long in the pan because it will start to go really caramelized and not nice. So just keep it moving. So if you feel like you've got a lot of liquid in your pan, this is where your corn flour is going to come in really, really handy. I'm still going to put a little bit of corn flour in myself just to tighten it up a little bit. Yeah, so looks pretty good. It's a bit wet here, so you can see that it's a bit wet through here. What the corn flour will do is, we'll go back to our corn flour. So go back to your corn flour, you're going to have to give it a good mix again. All right, it's going to go stick to your bottom. All right, got that here. All right, what you're going to do next is just tip a bit of that in. All right, I'm going to just tip all that in. All right, we're going to cook that out. All right, you won't taste that at all, but what you'll actually find is that creates a real nice, delicious and thick sauce for your noodles. And I'm pretty happy. Yes, pretty good. So once your sauce is thickened up, yeah, you can kind of see that there's no, it's all kind of sticking to the noodles now, so we're happy. All right, I'm going to turn the heat off on the wok. Done. Right, so really now is if you want to have your egg.
Green?
Oh, you can chuck your greens in, number one. Sorry. The residual heat will just cook them, so don't panic about that.
It's all right.
We're going to come back over to the chopping board and put our wok on there, and I'll serve up. Put it more ready. Yeah, move back over. I'm sure everyone knows how to cook an egg, so I'm not going to worry about that. So, yeah, so what we would do now is I'm going to serve it up into your bowl. We might actually, I'll do this part while Jess cooks an egg. So we'll just turn that camera off for now and we'll come back on. I'll bring it back up.
It's all right. I'll just leave it there.
Yeah, so Jess is going to quickly just fry up 2 eggs in the pan. Yeah, but in the meantime, you don't have to do that. We think it's a nice, delicious bonus. I'm going to serve up a couple of scoops in your bowl. Smells pretty good. Give it a good sign. So you can put the noodles into your bowl. Hopefully, come together nicely. The corn flour has done its job. Try and get a bit of everything in the bowl. Hit that with a bit of this spring onions and chilli. Straight away. Even some of your delicious fried sriracha. And we'll repeat that process again once the egg is done. Right, with that, sorry, that's a bit cool. Oh, sorry, hang on. You have to do the eggs, so focus on here.
No, you can talk.
I'll talk to the camera. So, I'll bring it over here. Alright, so that's what we've got thus far. That's just cooking our eggs, and it's pretty much good to go. Once your eggs are done, if you don't want egg, that's fine. Put all your little bits on top. I've got to put the bean shoots in. So you can chuck a bit of that on top as well.
So normally with the bean shoots, you'd probably add them in when you added those
Green ones.
the green ones. So if you haven't served it up in a bowl, by all means add them into your wok. Like Moo, you can add them into your wok now and mix it through because they don't need to cook.
No, you want to keep them pretty crunchy anyway. So sorry about that. Totally forgot. But all good. These things happen.
Working on the fly.
They'll stay pretty crunchy anyway. The residual heat in the wok will cook them through. We'll just have ours on top. Pretty close now. Oh, we're going to bring the bowls over. Yes, good. Okay. No. Okay.
Hold on.
Them.
Yeah. I don't need to see the back of me while I'm filming.
Yes, we're just putting the eggs up. How you going, Mum? You good?
Sunny side up.
Sunny side up. Back down. That's Monday.
Our pan's a bit sticky, but that's all right.
This is the egg cooker of the household.
Now that you've said that, I'll stuff it. He's probably good to go, Moo.
Egg on top. Look at that. Get that in on the fry to work again. Bring the other bowl back over there. Onion. Again.
You need to move your wok. Pretend like you're shot. Moo's still learning the his TV ways.
You've got a leftover wedge of lime. You can put that on the side. If you're feeling really adventurous, I would chuck on a little bit of the Sambal olive, which is pretty much like a different chili sauce. Real flavor bomb. Jam, I would have it. Barley, you're pretty soft when it comes to chili. So, few little drips and drabs of that. Or you can load up with some more sriracha. All right, almost there, guys. It's been a bit of a marathon, but all good. It'll be worth it, I promise.
It would normally be quicker if you were just doing it on your own, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you don't have to follow along. So just spring onions, a few more of those crispy shallots. They're just delicious. You could eat a whole bowl of them yourself. For the family. And I think we're done. I'm going to put, do you want to on that?
Oh, is that one mine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
Perfect.
All right. I think we're done.
How are we all going? We need to.
That's Moo's Mi Goreng right there. Get stuck in. Let me know how you go.
We need to see I need to see some plates of a plated up dish.
Yeah, that'd be good. Oh, Majuk. Look at that.
Oh, Marley. Very impressive, Mars. Claire, love it.
Is that you, Wallace?
Yeah, Wallace is all up with his fried egg.
That's the best egg I've seen.
I love it.
I'm not going to taste a bit from the what?
Perfect.
Oh, good.
What does Sammy think?
Yeah, this would be good.
Claire loves it.
Squeeze a lime on top as well. Mix that yolk through as well. That creates a nice little bit of richness as well. Squeeze that lime on top. And I think we're away. Enjoy, Majuk. Send us through a text once we're done.
Great work, team. Bloody delish. Sammy, come on. I'm interested.
Sorry about the late dinner, Sammy. We might have to start a bit earlier next week.
Claire said, can you come over and clean our kitchen, please?
Yes, I can. I'll be around tomorrow.
Gets him out of my hair. I don't mind, Claire.
Good, Muzz?
Sammy approved? Yeah.
Yeah, we've got some nods. Well, anyway, thanks for watching and playing along at home. I might actually write down the recipe and post it if you want it somewhere. Obviously, I'll just stole it off someone else. I think that's how the cooking world pretty much works. A few Moo adaptations along the way. Hope you've enjoyed it. Enjoy your dinner. Let me know how it was. If you want this to go ahead again next week, let Wallace know and he'll share the Zoom link again. Thanks for watching and enjoy your noodles.
Good.
Bye.
Very good, Moo. Thank you, mate. Good job.